Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Retrieving data in Outsystems involves interacting with the platform's built-in database features, including entities, aggregates, and SQL queries. Outsystems is a low-code development platform that allows developers to create applications quickly, and data retrieval is a fundamental aspect of building these applications. Below is an informative tutorial on how to retrieve data in Outsystems, along with code examples. 1. Understanding entities. Entities in Outsystems are similar to tables in a relational database. Each entity represents a data structure that you can use to store and manipulate data. Example: create an entity. 1. Go to the Data tab in your Outsystems application. 2. Click on Add Entity and name it Customer. 3. Add attributes like ID, integer, name, text, and email, text. 2. Using aggregates. Aggregates are a visual way to retrieve data from an entity. They allow you to perform filtering, sorting, and joining operations without writing SQL code. Example: create an aggregate. 1. Open your screen or block where you want to retrieve data. 2. In the Logic tab, drag and drop an aggregate onto the flow. 3. Select the customer entity in the aggregate properties. Adding filters. 1. In the aggregate, click on the Add Filter option. 2. Set a filter to retrieve customers with a specific condition, for example, email contains @example.com. Example of using aggregate in a screen. 1. After creating the aggregate, you can use it in a list or table widget. 2. Drag a table widget onto the screen and bind it to the output of the aggregate. 3. Using SQL queries. While aggregates are user-friendly, you may sometimes need more control over your SQL queries. Outsystems allows you to write SQL directly using the SQL tool. Example: create a SQL query. 1. In the Logic tab, right-click on SQL and select Add SQL. 2. Write your SQL statement. For example. 3. Define the output parameters for the query to match the data structure you expect. 4. Consuming data in client actions. Once you have retrieved data using either aggregates or SQL queries, you can consume that data in client actions. Example: retrieve data in client action. 1. Create a client action, example get customers. 2. In the action flow, add the aggregate or SQL query you created. 3. Use the output to populate a local variable or directly bind it to your UI components. 5. Error handling. It's also essential to handle potential errors while retrieving data. You can use exception handling to manage unexpected situations. Example: adding error handling. 1. In your client action, you can use the try-catch pattern. 2. Add a try block around the aggregate or SQL execution. 3. In the catch block, handle errors gracefully, such as displaying a message to the user. Complete example. Here's a complete example that combines the above concepts. 1. Create the customer entity with attributes ID, name, and email. 2. Create an aggregate named getCustomers to retrieve all customers. 3. Create a screen and bind a table widget to get customers. 4. Add error handling in your client action. Conclusion: retrieving data in Outsystems is straightforward, whether you use aggregates or SQL queries. The platform provides various tools for efficiently handling data operations while maintaining a low-code approach. By following this tutorial, you should be able to implement data retrieval in your Outsystems applications effectively. If you have specific use cases or questions, feel free to ask.